It's amazing. I mean, looking back on your experience of this teacher who tried to get you to change all the embouchure.
My friend. My beloved friend.
Absolutely. Well, looking back on it, maybe,
yes,
maybe.
You're right.
Maybe.
You're right. I don't reject my past.
No,
you
you can't.
Sometimes I think that it was a blessing that I had that problem.
Well, yeah. That's the point, isn't it? We see our past as a learning experience. If we can do that,
Yes,
you know.
it is.
But so many times, I've heard embouchure. It's got to be right. It's got to be da-da-da-da-da. It's got to be, intense.
There are so many embouchures of people on the earth.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are, as I say, there's a morphological center and a geographical center. We have to go by our morphological center. Which is our morphological center? Okay, you blow, and when you feel much better, that's your morphological center. Don't move from that. I mean, it's all the same if your embouchure points this way or it aims that way. I never interfere with embouchures because I know that our nature chooses the best embouchure. Many people. Many people. One of the trumpet soloists of the Berlin Philharmonica, he plays his embouchure is right here, and he plays like the angels. He's a wonderful trumpet player, incredible trumpet player. So what?
If it works.
If it works, you can play even with your ear.
Yeah.
If it works, okay, let it go.
Yeah.
But why they want to interfere? I mean, people are not clones. We are not clones. You have to respect the natural part of that man. Respect it, please. But many pedagogues, many teachers want them to be clones of himself.
Yeah.
And they end up destroying so many people, so talented people.
There's an English phrase that says, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I was not broken, but he wanted to fix me. And he did. He did. Because he couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a sarcasm. Obviously,
but that's the point.
He told me to avoid what I didn't want to do, and I avoided. Because when we avoid failures, we avoid success.
True.
That is exactly what happens. When we want to avoid missing a note, we stop the system. So we are not going to miss the note because we are not going to be able to play. But we are avoiding also playing. When we block our system, we are not missing notes. We are blocking our system, which is the next step. So we have achieved it. We are not going to miss anymore because this is not a missing note.
That's right.
We avoid everything, the good and the bad. So we paralyze the whole system. From then on, you cannot do anything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem of the person. This is not the problem of the musician.
Yeah.
And so when you solve the problem of that's below the surface of then the peak is not going to come anymore. The problem is the person. As far as I can see, as I told you, 99% of the people, of the population, are suffering from some sort of emotional dystonia.
Is this... we've heard of players from 40, 50 years ago, some the odd players in history that have lost their lip. But I'm wondering, is this more a modern occurrence? I'm just wondering if there was something about these last 20 years, for example, sociologically maybe,
Well,
that has kind of affected how people have thought about their playing.
well,
and whether
you know
that's
that
gone away.
nowadays there are more musicians than 30 years ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the problem has always existed.
It's all been there.
But they didn't know exactly what was going on with them. And you know, and when people suffer from this problem, they don't want anybody to know that. I mean, it is like a taboo.
Yeah.
You know, it's like suffering from SIDA or something like that. You know, they don't want anybody to know because they can be taken as insane. Yeah, that man is crazy. It's insane. They don't want to reveal their problem, and hopefully, I think that if we are able to demystify the problem, more and more people will be able to accept it, and thanks to accepting it, we'll find the solution to his problem, to their problem.
We were saying that perhaps teachers need teaching. You need to teach teachers.
Well, that's a point.
Have a new attitude.
Joaquin, what did you say? In your dossier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it. You mentioned about educating the educator.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Exactly that. I would like everybody in the conservatories in Spain to understand that they don't have to push things. They don't have to rush events. Because I would like them to understand that the human being is more important than the musician. So that they don't have to insist, they don't have to punish their students. They do that. You're stupid, you're not studying, you know, you don't. No. I mean, you have to allow time so that things happen. You have to stimulate the student, but not pushing the student, making them enjoy what they are doing. Obviously, if they are pushing, it is because they themselves are not enjoying. Because we tend to do what we feel inside. So the main purpose is, okay, I want to educate the educator to prevent the situation. But you know, most of them are not willing to listen to these approaches because they think that they know everything. You know, I mean, this is a fight against egos. Some of them will be able to admit it, but some of them will not admit it.
Right.
Anyway, I think that little by little, you know,
That's the answer.
something like this is going to happen. So I'm having, ahead of me, I'm having several conferences in conservatories, and because they want to know what's going on with this, you know. And we are mainly talking about prevention. We'll be mainly talking about prevention. How to prevent a problem like this. Can it be prevented? Yes. It can be prevented perfectly, with no problem. The cure is difficult, but prevention is so easy. You know, I had once a guitarist that was not really well affected. I mean, when he came here, he had been affected for 2-3 months, and he was experiencing difficulties. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, he was able to play perfectly, 100%. I mean, if it works when I work with people who has been suffering this for such a short period of time, can you imagine what we could do from a prevention standpoint? That would be wonderful. And there is a profile, there is a psychological profile of people who suffer from this.
Really?
Yes, perfectionists who don't understand perfectionism.
Right. Going back to what we were saying earlier about how you experience perfectionism. Yeah.
Perfection is the art of accepting imperfection.